AI4GOV is a Philippine tech startup that provides AI solutions for public service. AI4GOV is also the startup behind KIRA, the DOH COVID-19 information chatbot. Motilla is the social innovation lead and co-founder at AI4GOV. So hello Lay, I'm very excited to talk about AI4GOV and to know more about ano ba yung ginagawa nyo for the government and for the public sector. So hello.
Hi, Johnny. Thank you for having us. Really excited to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, so I also want to know more about KIRA, so maybe later we can talk more about that. But I want to start with, ano nga ba ang AI4GOV?
Ang AI4GOV is a civic GovTech startup. And what we do is we apply technology, that automation, analytics, data science, and community organizing, of course, in solving problems or finding solutions sa mga public service issues that we have in the Philippines.
Yeah, I think that's interesting na what you said. Civic GovTech, I think that's kind of new. But punta muna tayo kay KIRA kasi I think isa rin sa mga parang recent na biggest contributions ni AI4GOV. So, sino nga ba tong si KIRA? Being the DOH COVID-19 information chatbot. So, sino ba siya and ano ba yung ginagawa niya talaga?
Si KIRA is short for Katuwang na Impormasyon para sa Responsableng Aksyon. So, siya yung chatbot, official chatbot ng Department of Health, and ang kanyang knowledge base ay mostly about COVID-19, vaccines, everything that has to do with response. So yun, so dun siya nag-specialize as a technology.
Okay, so parang AI4GOV na is providing solutions dun sa mga problems or dun sa mga ginagawa ng government, parang to boost it more, to empower it more. Pero balik pa tayo even more backward. So ano ba talaga ang government? I mean, why do we have a government and why do you want to help like this public sector?
So for us, government is a relic ng ating history as a society, diba? So, it represents yung naging progress na rin natin as a civilization, diba? From yung una nating nomadness, ganyan, to having structures, having rules, having things that allow society to function and to thrive. So, sa ngayon, in modern times, government still has that role, no, in having a functioning society, regulation. And AI4GOV is actually a personal thing. Bakit AI4GOV? It's also because each and every one of us co-founders had experience working for government, from the national agencies, local government, down to, you know, being part of the SK sa barangay. So we have a whole view as young people that was once engaged with the government. So it was something personal. So naiintindihan namin yung halaga ng government. Kasi kapag ka nasa labas ka looking outside, para bang ang tingin mo sa government is mabagal, bureaucratic, ano bang silbi nito. Pero if you had an experience being inside, ang appreciation namin ay, wow, government composed of people. Sila tita, yung mga katitahan, naka-lunchmate mo sa government. They are amazing people. These are people na wagas yung pagsisilbi. And then you begin to have a different perspective of what government is. Government is a system composed of people who, a lot of them, are wagas sa paglilingkod, have really like service-oriented values, and that is what inspires us. So how do we amplify itong mga tao, mga public servants who really wants to serve well, and how might we use technology and, you know, machine learning, AI, to make that happen?
Yeah. I also believe that government is like the biggest structure or biggest institution sa isang bansa na parang kind of it's like the largest establishment na maraming pwedeng gawin. So can we know lang like ano ba yung mga different activities na to or different functions ng government or public sector na AI4GOV is also trying to empower or to boost? So like ano yung parang aspects ng government na to that you are trying to give more power?
So definitely we have yung front-end services, yung mga frontline services kung saan usually kapag ordinary citizens, you would interact with government through this, no? Kukuha ka ng birth certificate, may tatanong ka, meron kang kukuha ka ng SSS, things, tax, ganyan. So, ito yung usually points of interactions ng mga citizens. And this is also the line where we want to innovate. Bakit? Kasi yung access to information on karapatan mo kasi na paglingkuran ng iyong representative institution, no? And sometimes, hindi yun na ma-maximize. Either hindi mo alam kung ano ba yung available services, ano ba yung mga karapatan mo. Kung alam mo na required ang something, how do you access it? Parang laging negative, 'di ba? Parang laging frustrated, it's all about long lines. So we want to change that by, providing solutions that make use of innovation, innovative technologies, or good design, ganun.
And then when naman pumasok yung like AI, kasi I mean maybe there are other solutions, other digital solutions, pero bakit AI and bakit nga AI4GOV yung naging parang name ng inyong startup?
Actually, AI4, may ibig sabihin din yon. So hindi lang siya artificial intelligence for government because we actually don't believe in AI solutionism. Hindi sagot sa problema ang AI. So AI4GOV stands for appreciative inquiry. Yun yung una. Appreciative inquiry meaning we recognize first the aspirations, the strengths of people that are stakeholders. The next one is accessible information. So, or, through automated systems. So, invest ka muna sa automations. Kasi, anong i-AI mo kung wala ka namang maayos na data structures, no? So, walang sustainability doon. And then, the next AI is, ito na yung AI and machine learning. Pero, with respect to, naayos mo yung foundations kahit papano ng data structures that solves or that provides a pathway to the appreciative inquiry, no, na outcome natin. And then lastly is actionable insights. Because by the end of it, ano yung insights? How do we generate value from data, from automation that actually corresponds to what we want to achieve, yung appreciative inquiry where we all began with. And that is the real meaning of AI4GOV. And people just assume kasi na, it's AI. Pero also, it's also with respect to the landscape that we are in right now, which is the fourth industrial revolution. So it's a technology that is ripe to be leveraged.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. I'm one of those people na akala agad is AI, artificial intelligence for government. But nung simula ba, yun na agad yun naisip nyo? Like yung 4 meanings na yun? Like when you conceptualize the tech startup? Yeah.
Yes. Kasi we found it as easy to explain. So kita ka agad kung ano yung edge, 'di ba, nung startup na to. But also meron din siyang, as you go deeper, like when you ask me about it, it's a conversation starter na it already summarizes yung depth. No, it's not just about AI is cool, so let's apply it. Pero it also summarizes the depth of where we stand and what our values are when it comes to this.
And I also want to know, kasi AI4GOV, I'm not sure if tama yung pagkaintindi ko, pero meron siyang 2 aspects na it also helps the government, but it also empowers the citizens. So I want to know about that side. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin natin ng AI4GOV empowering the citizens?
Yes. Sa framework ng AI4GOV, we have this framework that we follow. We created it ourselves. So we believe na the future is relationship and that the way to approach etong super hard problems ng governance is by creating a healthier public sector value chain. So we don't actually see it as this is the problem, here's the solution, pero we see it as a system that is unhealthy. Merong mga leverage points that we can unlock, and it always has respect to how we understand the relationship between citizens and their representative institution, and how do we make that healthy. So, meron kaming 3 aspect like communication, 'di ba? Kung may jowa ka, syempre ang unang foundation mo with your jowa is your communication. Jowaan tayo, di man tayo nagko-communicate. How do you know my love language? 'Di ba? So, the government can care better kung naralaman din ng government ano ba yung needs and aspirations ng citizens. And at the same time, the citizens can also have a better information access kung nako-communicate yun well, di ba, ng iyong government. So that merong care. So caring is a two-way street, right? And then also, with respect dun sa ikatlong C, so I said communication, the first C, care, and then merong compromise. So this is also a reality of how we are experiencing government right now or public services. Laging it's never enough, right? Laging may limitation, laging there's something na, parang you just have to accept. And in a relationship, compromise is, right, the third C. Kasi totoo naman na it's always an evolving process, no? Hindi laging ideal. And I think that type of framework or that type of approach and thinking captures some aspect of reality that we have to deal with as we create solutions for public services.
Yeah. I kind of agree actually kasi nga medyo na underestimate natin yung value ng communication. Actually, when you think about it, natotoo naman na mahirap for the government, for the public sector na kumbaga maging centralized na taga-respond kasi ang daming signals, 'di ba? Ang daming communication signals from Luzon to Mindanao, different languages, different na pangangailangan. So, yeah, given that, like ano yung parang principles nyo on how AI really and how AI4GOV really can boost further that communication loop, that feedback loop. So, ano sa tingin niyo yung parang ano yung ginagawa nyo talaga to help on that aspect?
So definitely, katulad kay Kira, we first build a knowledge base. No? So, pero syempre, sa una, when you don't have a real framework, so you understand, you try to make sense muna kung ano yung sinasabi ng unstructured data. So, first, we do unsupervised learning. So, topic modeling, understanding ano ba yung mga signals dito sa unstructured text na meron. And then from there, we also try to meet it with ano ba yung framework of thinking ng decision makers. May sinusundan ba sila na framework, how they decide? So for example, with the COVID response, we're following the PDITR framework. Diba? Prevent, detect, test, isolate, treat, reintegrate. So, decision-making part, government, ganon. And then you have this pool of, words sa mga tao. Meron bang way to make sense of it, no, sa ganong framework? And then that's how we usually structure the text that we encounter. Mag-engineer ka na ng features, categories that make sense, etc. And then doon napapasok yung supervised learning na techniques. We do our model exploration. We try to find out which models works best. How might we implement this in the pipeline? Paano yung active learning? Paano to pag nasa production na? Paano natin i-manage yung shifting ng model, etc. No? And it goes deeper.
I'm interested now kasi we're being now more technical, no? So I'm curious lang din, like sa co-founders nga ni AI4GOV. So can we know more about the team behind? Like, kasi ang diverse may AI, it's kind of technical, and then may public service, may decision making, and may communication, di ba? So I also want to know more about you, Lay, and about yung co-founders nga ng AI4GOV. Like, can you just share ano ba yung background and like yung skills and knowledge needed to form this kind of tech startup na medyo parang versatile and ang laki talaga nung domain na kino-cover?
Certainly, I'm very, very, very extremely proud of the team. No? Kaya ang AI4GOV, it's really a community that has a shared vision na lahat may talent, kumbaga. So for me, so ako, I'm not, hindi ako computer scientist, hindi rin ako statistician. I'm a community development graduate from UP. So ano yung strengths that I'm offering? It's facilitation. It's stakeholder, people-centered approaches. Laging pagtanaw sa aspirations at sa needs ng communities. So yun. So as you can see, that binds the why, 'di ba? May why doon. And then we have Julius. So siya yung unang nag-take din ng risk to move forward. So he's a computer engineer. Works sa bank, doing yung bots, ganyan, for banks, ganyan. And then when we met during the Hack Society then, dun, diba, first engagement. Okay, so meron na tayong principals, tapos kasama ko nun si Pat, saka si Charm. So kami yung tatlong girls that entered Hack Society. I think narinig mo na yung backstory nito.
I-shoutout lang natin, no? So I actually learned about AI4GOV na sa podcast ni Adriel, yung para kanino. So if our listeners want to know more about AI4GOV story, so you can also check that podcast out. Anyway, so sorry for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. So yun, so si Charm and si Pat, sila yung nakasama ko on Hack Society. They also worked with national and local government. So kami yun. Ito yung I was laughing with Adriel din about na, oh my God, walang AI dito sa team of 3 na to. and then, so yun, no? And then Julius, siya yung computer engineer. And then there's Noel, computer scientist. And then si Francis, computer scientist also. Siya yung actual first AI engineer na legit, na senior, ganyan. Senior, quote-unquote. Who gave us first bout of confidence talaga na okay, we can do this kasi may initial skills na tayo. And then there's Prof. Rak and Riza. So Prof. Rak came from UPLB. She's a statistician. At yun na, so nagkakaroon na, as you can see, nagkakaroon ng legs. And then Riza, also a statistician. And then may mga group of statistician na rin na mga kaibigan din ng team. And then communication. So there's Jaira, and then there's Fatima for communication. And then nagkaroon din ng power team. So there's Moy and Debs and Christian. So lumaki na yung team.
Malaki na pala ng team.
Na nagkaroon na ng mas malalalim na skill set and people behind it na, like for example si Moy, talagang he brings in so much energy as a scrum master, and so it develops over time. We all mature and learn over time, and you can now see the diversity ng team. So may Polsci, may Comms, may ganyan, but what is common across all of us is that lahat may puso talaga for public services. So, yun.
Yeah, speaking of that, yung puso for public services, I also want to ask you, Lay, in the first place, why did you join yung hackathon nga na yun na nagpanganak kay AI4GOV? I'm just curious. And parang, even before then, like, saan pa nanggaling yung puso na to?
Right, yeah. So yung puso na yun nanggaling sa experiences din kasi we can never abstract, something na hindi natin na-experience ourselves. So dahil nga community development, yung major ko, then I was really exposed. Nag-humanitarian work ako during Yolanda. So I've been to so many barangay, sitios, name it, in its disaster talaga mode, ganyan. And then at times I also was active after graduation sa youth leadership. So dito ako una nagkaroon din ng expansion, 'di ba, ng pwede pa lang you're out of your profession, pwede ka pala ma-expose lalo with other people, ganyan. So kumbaga nagkakaroon ka na rin ng confidence to lead, na you now believe na you can make change happen through community projects, ganyan. And then eventually these influences, they amplify, right? And then eventually I got may isang youth leader, si Charles, who told me na, Lay, we can use etong bot na to engage members, ganyan. So parang yun yung mga first talaga, and then I started to have a seed of that idea. And then when I had my exposure naman sa Singapore, I saw everything was about AI, soft skills, 21st century skills, and then and whatnot. And then anyway, so as I've told na rin before na, there are elements, right? There are elements and influences that are just there, hanging around. And then eventually, when the right time and opportunity arrives, they sort of cluster together, right? So then the opportunity arises, katulad nung Hack Society. When I saw it, boom, it's a perfect intersection na we can express yung gusto talaga natin mangyari, which is to apply yung nakikita na need in public services and have leadership and have technology together. Yun. So yun.
Yeah, I really like that story. Parang nagsimula nga as leadership, parang you have the experience and you have the parang the will and the confidence na you can make change. You can start change by your own, and then unti-unti dumating yung mga opportunities like ending technology, and yung mga even yung mga tao unti-unti dumating to help you on building that tech startup. So speaking of that, how has AI4Gov evolved naman or like change or like nung nabubuo na yung team, so up to now, ano na yung mga nangyaring changes and evolutions and milestones maybe for AI4Gov?
Right. I just wanted to emphasize on that point that you said, no. I actually make it to a point na the team is not helping me kasi it's centered on the me, no, the ego. It's always about each and every one of us having our own narratives, and we're building a community kung saan nagko-collect tong narratives na to together. So that's why a part of our culture is really understanding and reflecting in each and everyone's core. Ano yung core mo? What do you value? How does this, kasi hindi sustainable na people are working for, one person's, direction. They have to also find their own personal values and direction. Now we are doing this together kasi we all agree na we cannot do this alone. So if we want to make maximum impact, then we have to combine these skill set together and work as a team. So ganun yung I always make that to a point. Kaya I hate being called a founder. I'm always a co-founder. It's always a team. It's never about me. Ako lang yung madaldal. Ako lang storyteller, no? So yun.
And parang parang yun kasi that's the best way to empower and to make people contribute. Parang yung mission, kumbaga, nasa soul talaga nila, nasa sarili nila na they really want to do it out of themselves. Hindi yung parang ginagawa lang nila to dahil sa ibang tao or dahil sa trabaho or parang they participate kasi they really believe also, and maybe they also become leaders and they also really have that heart to do contributions to society. Yeah, so
yes.
So where is AI4Gov now? So ano na yung ginagawa ni AI4Gov ngayon? So can we know more about it?
So ngayon, we had two directions. So one is to go deeper. So deeper meaning, setting the next evolution of KIRA, mas malalim na approaches, ganyan. So patalinuhin pa siya. We're actually not satisfied at all. Kasi hindi pa siya ganun katalino kasi it's always limitation factor niya lagi yung construction that we had in terms of policy, etc. Pero ngayon, we want to go deeper and we're in the process of re-engineering everything actually. Yung triage 3.0 kung saan pwede na mag-submit, I think, ng antigen results. Yung mga tao is about to come in. So this is actually the first public for that. Hopefully that happens. No, we're actually not sure yet. Pero it's there, no? It's being tested. Nasa UAT na siya ngayon. So that's going deeper dun sa craft. And then we're expanding. So we're actually now engaging with DepEd. We're creating bots for them, climate education bots. We're engaging back to our roots with the ILG, research and development for local governments. We're engaging with civil society organizations. We're doing survey works. And, a lot other things. Also international stuff. Yun. So yun, so kumbaga we're now expanding and going deep from the traction that we have done.
Yeah, and can we hear nga lang ulit. So si KIRA, so ano ba yung naging reach and parang achievements ni KIRA? So I actually heard this din from the podcast niya, but can we just reiterate dito na gano'n na ba kalaki yung naging reach ni KIRA?
From memory, I don't have the dashboard with me. Pero ngayon, I think latest, maybe last week, it's 1.2 million subscribers. It's 35 million interactions. So meaning it is really being used. Hindi lang siya nag-subscribe yung mga tao. They're really using it.
Yeah.
And then 1,200 local cities and municipalities nationwide. So yun yung reach niya. And syempre, meron din siyang contact tracing aspect, no? So with Quezon City. So those who did the triage with KIRA, if you belong to Quezon City, you are surely going to be engaged by the government of Quezon City.
Yeah. And we're talking about earlier, no, yung like yung puso nga and yung parang mission ng bawat isa sa team. So, I just want to ask, ano ba ang vision ni AI4GOV? Like, ano ba yung nakikita really ng bawat isang member ng team? And even you, ano ba yung parang sinet yung vision into the future with regard to like yung for AI nga, for AIs, tackling or going into governance, the public sector, civil gov, public sector empowerment. So, ano ba yung vision really?
Yung vision talaga is AI readiness, right? So, na bawat government unit is able to able to leverage on the value of data and technology being used, being designed, na tama yung puso, no? Na it's really about bridging stakeholders. So, yun yung vision na we have this motto na public service at your fingertips, no? To encapsulate yon na bakit laging struggle kapag ka ordinary citizen ka, no? Why can't it just be on your fingertips? Bakit kailangan na reactive? Why can't it be responsive? Why can't it predict before you even needed the service? So yun yung mga nakikita namin sa isang model. Actually, hindi na nga data-driven society. It's model-driven society with AI and machine learning. So nandun kami. In terms of yung full vision na yun ng AI readiness. Sa AI digital transformation kasi, dalawa siya lagi, no? May tactical, may strategic. So we meant to always build solutions that bridges yon. Yung tactical muna for people to have tools para ma-develop yung data culture around organizations. So, syempre, mga tao, ayun, plug in lang, hindi yun sustainable. Dapat meron kang data culture talaga as a result of that. And then, strategic. So, once organizations are able na to build their own digital infrastructure, understand how the data maturity works, ganyan-ganyan, they're able to define their problems, build their own pipelines, then, nagkakaroon na ng true strategic value yung machine learning, no? You then get the power. So yun.
Yeah, I think AI is really into automating and parang making it more efficient kasi I think it really boils down sa communication. I really like yung public service at your fingertips kasi that way, hindi lang mas mabilis yung parang pag-send ng signals to the government na ito yung kailangan namin, mas mabilis din yung pabalik. So, sabi mo nga kanina, yung magjowa ang citizens and the government. So, parang mas may feel mo na nagre-respond yung government or actually hindi nga lang nagre-respond, nag-i-initiate ng mga kailangan gawin and you feel loved and you feel really part. So parang part din to ng inclusive technology na parang or participatory technology na parang we're really one, we really belong into this big society.
You got it. Yes, that is it. Yun.
Yeah, okay.
Corrected by.
Amazing. Okay, so maybe for our last question. So I just want to ask from you, Lay. Parang kasi you started nga as a youth leader and parang dun mo nakita yung confidence mo to build and to really contribute. So how do you want to inspire other people, maybe students? How do you want to inspire them to be youth leaders and to really want to start to make a change? Ayan.
Definitely volunteer, no? Act. So take the first step forward. Create your big self. So I always say that meron tayong small self, meron tayong big self. So it's always how do you take the next step forward so that you can connect with your bigger self. And kapag makaka-connect ka dun sa bigger self na yun, kapag you keep on also expanding yourself with experiences. So kapag nanggaling ka sa more privileged background, wala ka masyadong hugot sa struggles in life, then go expose yourself, go to communities, mag-volunteer ka. So, ganun, no? Kapag ka naman katulad namin, most of us, ay mga nag-struggle in life, mga nagpapansit kanton sa UP at itlog, mga walang baon, ganyan. So then, may pinaghuhugutan na mas personal pa. So, you can either synthesize it or you can find the narrative that you truly feel, that you've truly experienced. And then from there, always reflect. Action, reflection. That's what community development also is kasi na-heighten yung consciousness. And kapag na-heighten yung consciousness, nabubuo yung core, then you can radiate. 'Di ba? Kasi if we are doing things just because we want to prove our self-worth, then hindi yun sustainable. Para lang yun sa'yo at sa self-worth mo. Hindi yun ang gagaling sa mas malalim na pagtanaw sa pinagdaanan mo at paano nagdudugtong yung pinagdaanan mo sa pinagdadaanan ng society at marami pang mga tao. No? So, ganon yung, I guess, then it becomes more powerful, mas nagkakaroon ng quality, and people always resonate with quality. Kasi there's always quality in people, right? So, yun. So, I guess yun yung isang factor din that distincts our culture at AI4Gov. Dapat clear yung resonance na yun.
Yeah, thank you so much. Those are very wonderful words. Okay, so I really like this episode. So parang kinambine or synthesize natin ang technology and yung society maybe, or yung like that aspect of the Philippines. So yeah, so Lay, if listeners want to know more about AI4Gov, maybe they want to join or maybe they want to partner up with you. So you can take this time to share about how they can contact you or how can they know more about you and about AI4Gov.
For anyone who's interested to engage with us, just go to www.ai4gov.net. Yun lang. And then send us a message, solutions@ai4gov.net. We don't have a Facebook page. We don't have a marketing arm. We don't even have an updated website. So yun lang. Pero if you send us a message, we can have coffee. I'll talk to you. Ganyan. So, and then we can engage on a more personal level. No? So we're not about marketing per se. It's really about personal connection and being present with our stakeholders.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lay. This is a wonderful episode. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our 11 patrons. This episode is super powered by NutriCoach, the all-in-one productivity tool for dietitians and nutritionists, and Benjoy's Food Products, the home of premium bacon ends, tapa, and tocino. This episode is powered by ePlayment and Interleukin. Support us at www.patreon.com/startuppodcastph.